stop a minute and take a look at our beautiful tennis center backdrop.
The beautiful but very hot day.
It's George!
Holy cow, it's a scorcher. Boy, I bet you that guy could cover a lot of court.
Hey, buddy, they got a new invention. It's called a napkin. Well, we'll take a station break and continue with more action.
Sup?
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 Hello.
What's up?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fantastic Comics Presents. Today is our 33rd episode. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And for those of you that aren't joining us live, thanks for tuning in and giving us a listen after the fact. My name is Yule. I own Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. We are up and running. We have a new location on MLK Junior Way. We are open Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 5. Thinking about staying open later. Thinking about adding a day. Thinking about not doing any of that. How is everything out there for you? Out here in California, Northern California, I'm sure Southern California, I saw fires are raging. When I got out of the house this morning, the sun was red, and it was like, oh man, it was like everything was dusty and red, and I saw people say it looked like Mars. How do you think it went, Bruja?
I went out and I went across the street to Starbucks at probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and it looked like we were in like freaking Muspelheim. Like I walked out to Ragnarok, and it's been like that all day. So it's like I have a couple of friends up in like Oregon, and they had to evacuate. There's just like so much fire. It's so bad.
It's not good for sure.
No.
Excuse me.
Yeah, right? It's getting to your throat, too, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's the smoke that's worrying me, of course.
Some kind of smoke.
Well, the thing is, of course, it's so very hot. We kind of complained about it last week or the week before or whatever it was.
I got my Jane Foster on again because it's the coolest shirt I have.
I'm keeping my black on right now, of course, you know. It's cooling.
This is the only white shirt I have. I don't do white clothes.
I don't like showing my tats off. That's why I don't.
Wait, do you have that?
That's the joke.
Like,
I clean.
Like I see you with virgin skin.
That's right. That's not going to prevent me from going upstairs, if you know what I mean. There'll be plenty of other things, but it won't be that.
Ooh.
I know. And then, of course, you know, we keep the windows closed. And if you're not blessed to have air conditioning like us, I wouldn't even actually say blessed. I'm not actually into conditioned air.
I grew up with swamp coolers. I think that's what I have now.
Mm-hmm.
But
What was that?
I grew up with swamp coolers in Arizona, and those are nice. Like way better than actual just AC units.
Yeah. Swamp loud?
They are. That is the one thing. Like if you think wall unit ACs are loud and bad, swamp coolers are it's so nice and cold though, because it does the water through there and all that. It like cools down the humidity and everything.
How is that for like water or condensation in the air? Let's say I'm worried about my comic books and stuff. Is that okay?
That would be a little bit more something you would have to be concerned about. Like, you wouldn't want to have it anywhere near anything where you're storing your books. It's not like it would like wet
Rain
the atmosphere that much, but like I wouldn't put it next to a swamp cooler, like anywhere within like 10 feet of it.
Right. Let's say hi to the people. Wow, this is we have a few people in chat. Obviously, you are here. We also have Jill B. Pill. She's in the other room. Hey, Jill. And we have Mark. Hey, Mark. How's it going? I'm sure somewhere, probably because he's at like dinner and he's listening with headphones. Fantinium is somewhere.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was just trying to go find the chat to be like, hey, where's everybody at?
I know. This is like, and I was, I don't know. I didn't really put a quick thumbnail up as early as I should have. And even if I'm not going to change it like I didn't, I don't know. It's like my least favorite thing to do is anything graphically. And like I could do a video and I can put some words up. It's a little bit different because you don't expect like really fancy stuff. I'm just going to put some pictures up. But when it comes to like, I don't know, Photoshop, for some reason I'm psyching myself out, and I still have like ever since it's been around. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe one of the things that really prevented me truly from wanting to work in comics overall is I didn't think I could come up with the creative monthly, grind that you need to.
Yeah.
And, not be creative enough. And the funny thing is these days you just rehash old stuff and bring old characters and just give them a little wrinkle. And then it's like, call it a day. And, rinse and repeat throughout the entire rogues gallery of whatever superhero you're working on. And
like movies too. Look at all of the reboots and it, like everything from like the Ghostbusters to we just got the new Bill and Ted's, like it's the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Like there's rehashing is definitely a big thing right now.
Well, I mean, it's so funny because like when I was younger and they made John Carpenter's The Thing, which is awesome movie, right? But of course the old timers are like, it's not in black and white. The other thing was so much, way more suspenseful, and you didn't know what was really going on, and this is just gore. And we say it for things today. I'm old now. Let's say hi.
Every era has something different about it that it is key to that era, because I really love horror and sci-fi movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Are they like what we had in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and now? No. But they're still good in their own right for what they were, because they did have different effects and different restrictions to work within. So, every couple of decades, it evolves into something new with every new generation. That's just life.
There are some, though, I think that are so... Let's say hi to Ben Compton, who says he's in the background, and Fantinium does say yo.
Finally. Hey, Fantinium.
Yeah. I was worried there.
Yeah, right. How was I here before you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the whole rinse and recycle thing. There have to be a few things that are untouchable, please, though. Like, I don't know, like, I think that, there's been a lot of things being said out there of a Princess Bride remake.
I just watched Princess Bride yesterday.
Not for the first time.
No, oh no, hell no.
I love Princess Bride. How can you, what about it would you change, and who is better than the people that are in it? That's okay. If that's none of that, if none of that criteria is met, give me a break.
Though, we don't need to remake things like Princess Bride, because every generation has a new version of that. Like that one was the 80s version. Now we have Stardust, the Neil Gaiman movie.
Sure.
So it is like same thing with my husband, not a big fan of Princess Bride because he saw Stardust first. That's the one that he attached to. And even he says he would really like to like Princess Bride, but he just feels like he missed out on it because he just got to Stardust first. So I don't think it's necessarily something that we need to remake necessarily so much as explore new similar stories.
Yeah, well, so Fantinuum says, I think we can all agree there are crappy reboots and there are really good reboots.
It's definitely true.
All right. Can you just name one really quickly, one really good reboot? Or one, how about a reboot that is, I mean, seriously, I mean, this criteria, it has to at least, all right, maybe not be better than the original, but it has to bring something different to the table.
You know, like Fantinuum said, I will have to give it to both the newer ones that we got, Bill and Ted 3, Face the Music, as well as Jay and Silent Bob reboot, because as a trilogy, Bill and Ted really pulled together the whole, I know, right? Watching him cook that, I'm just kind of like, I'm going to look over this way. They pulled away different things from the first two movies, and not only did they put it into the new movie in a way that really honored the first two movies, but the way they culminated the whole story together was just so good. And I really hope that I put out a review on Letterboxd for Bill and Ted that I really hope with the closing of this trilogy that they introduced Billy and Teddy, Bill and Ted's daughters, and it really seems like they're trying to do a new set of Billy and Teddy movies, maybe. So while we don't have any more Bill and Ted movies,
No spoilers.
Oh yeah. Well, nothing is confirmed. This is all
conjecture.
Yeah, like it's just really what I want to happen, because it would be a chance for us to have another set of Bill and Ted's, but it's not, you know, how we have like 9, 12, 15 different movies in the same series, like Fast and Furious or something.
But now a series, but all right, so even the Batman movies, although they might be different takes on Batman, I'm still kind of lumping them into more of a series thing. Same thing with James Bond, the Fast and the Furious, all of these things. All right, so I don't really think of them as reboots. And also, reboot really makes me think of franchises also. Maybe that's where I'm drawing a distinction. I'm not really talking about franchises, but things like They Live or not They Live.
The Thing.
The Thing. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many other movies to not have to remake. You know, I mean, there's so much other literature out there, and like you said, you can just make a different version of the same thing. There's been all sorts of Romeo and Juliets out there, and you know, yeah, exactly.
Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was awesome.
No, it's like earlier this year, I actually went through and I watched a bunch of set of movies like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and a few, it was like 3 or 4 different movies that were based on 60s sci-fi books, like 50s, 60s sci-fi books, and every one of the books got an adaptation through, I think it was like the 40s, the 60s, and then the 80s. So being able to go through and like, especially ones like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where the original one was something crazy like 1941. The effects that they worked with, it was charming to see them use bubbles for the effects of the bodies changing. But then the 70s one was, you know, greatly improved upon. And again, that is actually one that I would like to see addressed again with today's effects and abilities in movies, because it is a good story. It's not that remakes or rehashes are bad. You just have to choose the right thing and do it the right way.
So it's okay as if you're a director that only is like basically regurgitating but just making the shots better, or utilizing special effects that they didn't have back in the day. I don't know if that's necessarily better, but I do understand. I don't want to see the strings.
Well,
But
no, I agree with you on that too, because one of my absolute top favorite movies is Evil Dead. I didn't really like the remake that much. It was fine. It's a fine movie in and of itself. I do not like calling it a remake, and I still prefer the original, even with the effects of the original.
But that's the thing. Like, I saw someone tweeted some site. You know how there's handles, and then there's handles of things that are like these are old movie facts. So anyway, it somehow got across my feed, and there's this Buster Keaton scene where a locomotive is going over a track and it crashes. Like the whole bridge cost like $28,000, and it was the most expensive thing ever. Basically, even it would be the most expensive thing now. But that was a real thing.
There's a lot of money poured into very short action scenes in a lot of movies throughout all of cinema. And dear God, why were you cutting in the pan? Like, you're really killing me with this.
Yes. Oh, let's see his name. Hold on a sec.
Yeah, what's the name today?
All right, let me get that off. Oh, that sounds horrible. And one last thing. Let me take that off. No, we don't have that up. Sorry, guys.
Oh, Jilby Pill. Thank you. Not everyone agrees with me that.
What is she? Oh, I need Ash.
The Evil Dead remake. No, thank you. So it's like it's fine. Just
is it not Ash, or is it just not the chin?
What's her freaking name? She's the cute little redheaded chick from like Suburgatory. It's a chick Ash now, but I mean it. I don't want to make it sound like it was.
Of course it does. Of course it is.
Yeah, no. Are you kidding? Wait. I can do this. Look. I have.
Oh wait. Hold on a sec. Bam.
This is my boomstick tattoo.
Wow, my God.
So yeah, no, I am a bit of a Bruce Campbell fan. Like, I've seen most, if not all, of his movies. Like, man,
yeah, but have you seen his episodes of Ellen?
Ellen? DeGeneres?
Yeah, it was when she was owning a bookstore and full out lesbian.
Ooh.
It wasn't good. It was jumping the shark and just bringing a new character that had no business being in, and it just reeked of it. I felt bad but happy he got a job, so,
Yeah. That was kind of like with Burn Notice. I tried watching Burn Notice because he was on it, but I just did not care about the rest of the show.
Jill's watched, I think, all of those. If you dig Bruce Campbell, you watch a lot of crap. What about like Jack of Trades? Did you ever watch that?
Oh no, you know what one Briscoe County Jr. is the most underrated show in like the last 40 years.
That was very popular in my crowd of friends during that time.
Briscoe. I almost got a tattoo of Briscoe too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. But and then what was another really good? Yeah, like Jack of all trades, and then there was Frick. There was one. He was on shows as like a small character on like I think Xena and stuff. But like, yeah, no, him in all of his cheesy little characters, like I think Man with the Screaming Brain and Bubba Hotep are probably some of my favorite ones just because they're so absurd. Yeah, okay, I'm loving the Briscoe love here because, like, I don't know.
I had no idea we were going to be doing a whole Bruce Campbell thing, but that's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, anytime you can slip in Bruce, why wouldn't you?
All right, so here we go. So him and Hercules. We're big Hercules fans here.
Yeah, it wasn't Xena, it was Hercules.
And then I still think he was in more episodes of Xena, but Jill might correct me on that one.
The whole like little world that they had, and yeah, it just like he would have been a good Tick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the chin, everything, and the voice, and the way that he just has that cadence that he like. I went to go see him when he came out with My Name Is Bruce. Amazing movie, by the way. He did a live Q&A tour, and it was some midnight show in Oakland way back in the day, and I ended up like asking him a few questions, and he is seriously one of the most naturally quick and funny people of life, because it wasn't a rehearsed thing that we had watched. It was just the Q&A after the show, and just the way that he can shoot off his just dickish sassiness and his humor. It's absolutely amazing to hear him live. And I've read his books. I've read his autobiography, If Chins Could Kill. Like I have a tattoo of him for a reason.
I'm going to upset some people, but I'm going to say something. It's Bruce Campbell related, but Sam Raimi disappointed me immensely with his Spider-Man movies.
I've gone through and I've thought about that a lot, because Spider-Man was my original character that got me into comics, and Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi so much. If I ever have a kid, I want to name it Raimi. But I think Sam did the best that he could with the ridiculous amount of writing that was thrown at him, particularly in the third one, because there was just too.
Yeah, but I mean, I not to cut you off too much, but I mean, I am specifically talking about the very first one, because my hopes and dreams, like Spider-Man, one of my number one characters, in a bracket, this is my number one character. And Sam Raimi did the Army of Darkness movies, or the Ash movies. And more importantly, he did Darkman, which was very comic book. I mean, no, there was a comic book, but it was very inspired and heavily comic book. And I thought I was going to get more of that and it just didn't happen for me.
Like,
it just felt Hollywood.
Has a side to him that is not what you would expect from the rest of his movies. Like, he has I do not remember the name. It's too hot to think, but he has that baseball movie, and he had another one that was like some kind of a romantic comedy. So yeah, sometimes I think he tries to pursue things in his movies a little differently that don't work out in the ways that we as his fans would like.
But all right, so like Hercules and Xena were Sam Raimi productions, and although he wasn't necessarily on every, he didn't do everything for that program, it felt very Sam Raimi. Spider-Man had none of his flair, zero. Even with Bruce Campbell in it, nothing. And that's where I was, and I understand Blame the Machine, but.
No, you're definitely right. And what makes me wonder about it is if he was restricted from his some kind of creative control, because since it was such a big movie, it was like you said, it's Spider-Man. It was the first real big Spider-Man that we got, in what year was it? 2002?
Yeah, it was maybe 2001, because I know the World Trade Center thing happened, 9/11. Okay. And there was some advertisement that had Spider-Man catching a helicopter, if I'm not mistaken, in that area. That iconic area that ain't there anymore, So that slowed down the movie. So yeah, maybe 2002, something like that.
Something like that.
And when I saw that movie in the theater with Jill, we were at the Metreon, and there was a fire alarm or a bomb scare or something, and refund, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Raimi never had a chance with that one.
Laura. I don't know. There's so much that can go wrong with movies.
All right, hold on a second. Armol says Disney's Condor Man happened for me. One of the best comic book movies ever. Real talk. All I know is that Condor Man, you could see the strings as he's flying. And it's the Phantom of the Opera who played him.
Really?
What's his name? Jill will help me. Let's see.
So I can think of like 9 different Phantoms, so I'm not going to be any help there.
Wait, what's this? That
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger movie they had to cancel. He was going after a terrorist that was in New York City. I don't know that one.
A Terry.
A Terry. That's from. Well, I mean, for me, it was from Key and Peele. There's this.
Oh.
We're gonna get. These two guys are on the lookout for terrorists, and they see a terrorist in everything. It's hilarious. Check it out. Michael Crawford, thank you very much. Oh my goodness.
Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, and I was listening to the audiobook the other day when I heard them call the androids Andes for the first time, and I was just like, oh my god, Andes! I can't unthink calling androids Andes now.
That it will be a slur when AI life, takes over. Andes, remember that. That'll be the next episode. We'll call it that. I remember Condor Man mostly from the opening trailer montage. Yes, definitely that. I don't know, Armol. I think that might have been a sort of trashy kids movie, but I mean, of course, I watch trashy kids stuff, and that's what made me love Scooby-Doo and stuff like that.
Right.
So I mean, I'm not denigrating it. I'm just denigrating it. Oh wow! So he's like, I'm done cutting potatoes.
Yeah. What are you?
I'm just gonna bring out a TV dinner or something. Oh, you gotta put that in water.
Yeah, as a former chef, I'm looking at all of these foods, trying to figure out what his Dr. Dropinski is making, and I'm like, none of this. Were you making some kind of scalloped potatoes, and then were you making a risotto? Were those hemp seeds? What is this raw bollocks that you got? Are you using a rate? What are you opening that bag with?
He probably doesn't have scissors, believe it or not. Oh. Never mind.
That was beautiful timing.
All right, so I want to let me do a little bit of store information because there's some stuff that people like Fantinuum are going to definitely want to know about.
Yeah, let's get some info because I want to try to get down there soon.
All right, so anybody that's interested, we are on 1708A MLK Jr. Way in Berkeley, California. We're open 12 to 5 Tuesday through Saturday. We will have brand new comic books tomorrow, but they will be only the ones that were distributed from Diamond. We will not be getting our DC books until sometime Thursday, so Fantinuum, Friday is the day you're looking at, or Saturday, I understand. If you need Sunday, we can work it out. But we're not going to get DC Comics until Friday. But there's a lot of good things that are coming out. X Factor 3. If you're on the fence about that because of the Ten of Swords, you should probably check that one out. And other things. So that's what I wanted everybody to know about as far as our store is concerned. Now that's over. Dun-dun. I'll say it one more time at the end of the show. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about some comic book news. I try to pluck all the comic book news, and you can just say click if you're not interested. But it's before everything. Let me see if I did a thing. Oh, did I do it? Oh, wait, firstly, let's say congratulations one last time to Christopher Babcock. thank you for ordering some comic books as we sent you the free comic book. That was the Star Wars coloring book. And what was that?
I wanted that.
Oh, well. Should have come up with a good ska name.
I tried to ask. I tried.
Oh, yeah. You know how it is.
Yeah.
I don't want improprieties.
Well, I mean, like, being married to who I'm married to, I don't even have a chance to even come up with anything because he's just so quick with them. So
Oh, really?
I have no chance ever. My pun muscle is so weak because it never has a chance to work out.
Mm-hmm. I don't know the answer to this question, Armel. I do not have my invoice in front of me right now, and as far as I know, no, but I hope. But I don't remember ordering it, so I think the answer's no. That's what I think. Okay, so first up, Comic Tonic, everybody. Pop vinyl staying alive. You definitely want to know about this, right?
Yeah. Tell me everything.
So I guess on Pop Vinyl or some Facebook boards, there was stuff going around that Pop Vinyl was bankrupt and they were like closing up shop. And I think even in person I told somebody that. And it's just what I heard. I didn't really look into it. So today I looked into it and it sounds like it was not true.
Okay.
But it also might have been what it was somebody actually trying to suggest that they're hurting financially, and they showed all this COVID time, of production or money that they've made, or actually lack of money that they've made, and the kind of surmise that Pop Vinyl's having a hard time right now.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like I get their daily emails and stuff, and they've been doing a lot of different sales and promotions. As a business owner, the little things that you can see that indicate a company is trying to pull more money in. And with the pandemic going the way it is, there were a lot of things that Funko specifically did in things like conventions. They had just opened up a store in LA, I think, that obviously now probably isn't open. So there's a lot to do with Funko that has to do with actual interaction with people that the pandemic and the lockdown, it probably has really affected, because there's a lot of things to do as well with exclusive Funko Pops. So there are ones that you can only get at Barnes & Noble or Hot Topic or Walgreens or Target. So if you're in an area where you don't have those places open, all of the collectors that are trying to get these things, like, I know at least one person, if you're listening, you know who you are, that he does not like to buy things online, because a lot of collectors refuse to buy things unless they can see the condition of the box.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a really big difference to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're a big company. I think if they finance things the right way, they should be fine. But at the same time, I wouldn't really be surprised if they didn't come out of the pandemic okay, because let's be real, we're still not seeing the end of the road.
Yeah, and even before the pandemic, GameStops were falling apart, which I saw a lot of Funko Pops there.
Oh, I bought a bunch of them. The one down the street from the shop in the bookstore before it closed down. Hell yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's something I was interested in, and I had thought, all right, the very few Funkos I have might be worth money.
Right. Oh, you know what's a fun little interesting something that I found out about a local thing? Did you hear about the Jelly Belly factory?
What about it?
They are legit, I'm hoping this isn't a hoax, pulling a Willy Wonka. They're doing a golden ticket, and it's supposed to be a contest where you can win one of the production factories in Florida. So, like, I haven't looked into a lot of it yet because there's not a lot of info. Like, there was only one, like, ABC News article that I saw yesterday or the day before, and it's a little suspect because it has something to do with each state has a different riddle that you have to work through. But in order to get to the riddle, you have to pay a $50 entrance fee to the website. And I'm just kind of like, but past that, it is supposed to be in Jelly Belly products that are applicable. You're supposed to look out for some kind of a golden ticket necklace that has a code on it that lets you access this, that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just kind of like, okay, I really hope this is real, because I live fairly close to the Jelly Belly factory. I've been on the tour numerous times. I think it's really fun. If you've never done it, it sounds stupid, but it's actually pretty good. So I'm just kind of like, I want a Willy Wonka. I want a Willy Wonka and win a Jelly Belly factory. I hope it's real. If it's real, I might that $50 entrance fee to participate.
And of course, Joe says, didn't you learn your lesson from Willy Wonka?
Bitch, Willy Wonka is my favorite book, my favorite movie. I have seen that movie more than any other movie in my life. Gene Wilder is my absolute favorite actor.
But come on now, let's be honest. Can we be honest here? You know that Tim Burton and Johnny Depp made a better version, right?
Okay, there's one thing about the Johnny Depp version that I will admit. It is a better adaptation of the book. It is. It has more of the actual written action that the book goes through than Willy Wonka and Charlie Bucket does in the 1971 version. But don't tell me that Johnny Depp is a better Willy Wonka.
No, but you know, so we've seen that one not too long ago, Jill and I, and we've come to the conclusion, and we've said it before, but we were really adamant the last time that Uncle Charlie is an asshole, right? That's his name, right? Uncle Charlie?
Joe.
Oh, Uncle Joe.
Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa Joe.
Oh, Charlie, shit, what am I saying?
Yeah, Charlie was the kid, Grandpa Joe, Grandma Josephine, Grandpa George, and Grandma Georgina.
All right, so Joe's like laying in bed, stinking up the joint, can't use his legs, and the minute the kid brings that ticket in, it's like...
Chocolate, man!
No, that guy's ready to go. He's like, come on, take me with you. I can do it. Well, maybe I can get up finally.
What kind of a motivation do you have to get up in that kind of a world, though?
I don't know, but, maybe not laying around all day. Grandpa Joe's a jerk. And I like all this stuff. I mean, he gets him in trouble with the bubbles in the movie. I mean, I'm talking strictly the movie. He gets him in trouble there, and, he's not, I don't know. Uncle Joe, or Grandpa Joe sucks.
Well, I mean, that's definitely, like, for...
There you go. Thank you, Joe.
That's been the main criticism, so I'm...
That wasn't anything new? There was nothing special with that idea?
Fantinuum, I did like James and the Giant Peach and BFG, both versions of BFG, and James and the Giant Peach, the animation on that one, it's the same guy that did stuff like Coraline. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, that one's a really pretty movie.
Fantastic, and it's a great adaptation too.
Yeah, that one's good. I like that a lot.
Right. Like Dahl is my favorite author. Like it. Contest. What is Worf's full name?
All right. So the deal is that I said he doesn't have a name, and Mark in the audience said that he has some sort of last name. So the thing he wants is he wants something creative, is what he wants. What is Worf's name?
Okay, are we making one up?
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Okay, because I've only ever watched the original Star Trek.
Good for you.
I was actually talking about this like last night or the night before, that I really want to go through the original Star Treks again, because I only ever watched the William Shatner version, and with all of the new ones coming out, I like the Picard show and everything. I really want to check. I love The Witches. The Witches, I sleep to that movie at least 3 or 4 times a month, where I just play it on a loop all night. It's like I can't actually think of any Roald Dahl movies that I don't at least like. Like Matilda. Don't get me started on Matilda. That is my childhood. It's one of the best movies of life. Danny DeVito and everybody in that. Oh, it's amazing.
When he gets done with this, we'll talk more about what he's doing.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Hold on a second. Okay,
If
so
you get me started on things like Roald Dahl and movie, like, you're gonna have to shut me up.
Oh, hey, K Titus, how's it going? I hope it's not as warm for you there as it is for us here.
Seriously, and
In the evening.
Blumhouse is awesome. I love Blumhouse. I have a movie list that I'm going through this year that has a bunch of different directors, cinematographers, production and distribution houses, and they were one of the ones that I put on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So there you go. Blumhouse has a bunch of new horror flicks on Amazon.
Not all of them are fantastic, because Blumhouse, by what their production does, is low budget, kind of quickly, easily produced stuff. But every once in a while, they've got a really good hit.
Who did Slither?
Slither? Oh, geez, the one with Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, that one was really good.
Ooh. I was thinking about that one a couple of weeks ago, too.
That was the movie that made me think that a horror movie could indeed be PG-13. You know?
Wait,
Because that was PG-13, I think.
I mean, there's plenty of ways to get a PG. I mean, good horror out of PG-13, maybe not. But
I mean, what are we talking about?
Stephen King's Dreamcatcher, I think, was PG-13, and that one was pretty good, I thought, from what I remember.
Well, I gotta admit, I don't watch a whole lot of movies, and I definitely wouldn't start with a PG-13 horror movie, usually.
I'm at something like over 475 movies watched this year.
All right, so let's answer this question. Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson. Stevenson is a science... It's not science fiction, or it is, but it's not like far future, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like really thinky and sciencey, and there's no way I read that. No.
Yeah, no, his book, like, when I shelved paperbacks, I don't remember, what was it called, like Anthem or something? Like,
I think that was one, yeah.
Yeah, his books are, aside from like
sizable.
His books are the biggest on the freaking shelf.
I mean, actually, a big book is not necessarily going to scare me away these days, but I just don't do real stuff or even like futuristic stuff. I'm fantasy or literature, and I don't really want to read like sci-fi or speculative fiction.
Sci-fi. And I love historical fiction too.
I hate it.
Oh, see, like, if you get the right sci-fi spin on historical fiction, though, man, like, it's so good.
It's anathema.
It's like, what's some good, Yevgeny, I know you know, what's some good, like, historical fiction, fantasy, sci-fi?
Holy cow. What? All right, so as we get some of those names to come up, why don't we go to the next thing? It was, the last thing is the greatest, but we'll wait for that. So, let's see, we've got Bill Willingham fears for his future. Do you know who Bill Willingham is?
Not in the least.
He is a comic book writer that wrote Fables.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those books.
Yeah, he's written a lot of stuff. He's an artist, all sorts of stuff like that. Let me share screen, and I will go to his tweet because it's sad. Confession time. I'm worried I'm too old and set in my ways to adapt. Crowdfunding requires learning many new skills. I suspect I'm among those who will cling to the dying old industry as others prosper. But none of that makes me think I'm wrong about the future of comics. And then, of course, he had to come out and say, it's not that I think the comics are dying or anything like that, but if you take a look at what sales are, it's not quite what it used to be, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that was something that happened this last week. That was more for Jeff.
Yeah, where is he at? Is he coming in this week?
Nah, he said whoever his exact opposite on Earth was today, or I guess wherever, they must have had a really wonderful day.
Warfield.
So this is an example of what you will win if you come up with the best Worf entire name. So you can't use Warfield. But here you're going to get an example of what a drawing of Warfield would look like. Okay. You know what? Let's turn all this off and let's talk about why I have Venture Brothers in my background.
Oh yeah.
I gotta share screen again.
Let's go over that.
This is Jill. I want you to sit down because you obviously didn't know, or else you would have been crying to me.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah, last night, it was Doc Hammer came out with like a tweet, and he came out and said, "Yeah, it's true. Cartoon Network or Adult Swim is axing the Venture Brothers," and that's it. And I gotta let you know, I am a super big fan of the Venture Brothers. We are big fans over here at this house. I have a brother that thinks it's really good, and I have friends that got me into it.
I've grown up on it because it's one of the long-running shows on Adult Swim that I actually like.
Yeah, it was. It obviously they said, well, we've been around for 17 years, and it's like, yeah, but you only had 7 seasons. Maybe if you would have
make after Dr. Orpheus.
Oh man, I'm so upset because there were so many things. I would hope. So I've really wished for a long time that the Venture Brothers would be, who knows, maybe a comic book even. And
they've never gone to comic?
No, they've never done anything. And I mean, it lends itself for that so easily, and the style is so understood by the artists that they would be able to pump out there would be people that would do it for free. Well, maybe not, but you know what I mean.
No,
I mean, nobody pays in comic books.
If you crowdfund things the right way, I definitely think there are plenty of. You can even do something like crowdfund, like, hey, artists, let's all do this together, and we can have a different person, a different artist do each issue. You can do it and get your exposure. We don't pay you because we can't. Whatever.
Oh, they could pay.
I think it's a good way to trade some skills, and I think it's definitely possible. But maybe that's just my commie ass.
Well, even still, I mean, they could come up with something.
When people get creative enough and want to do something enough, I think people can get things done.
Well, the thing is that they weren't really getting things done. Now, were they?
Yeah, with the 7 seasons, that's, like you said, that's kind of the... But
it's super sad.
The comic would even be easier.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, whatever the contracts, Cartoon Network, all that stuff, how that works out, who knows? But, so very upsetting.
Yeah, like... A Wretched Hive, it's been posting all about that. I've been seeing it all over all of my cartoon and nerd pages and stuff. I hadn't seen yet that it was confirmed. I had just seen that everybody was like, I heard the whispers that there might be no more. So it's sad to hear that it's actually true. It's been on for so long.
We were just watching it again. It's well, what are we watching it for? We're getting in preparation of another season that's not going to happen. And
you're watching it because it's fun.
Well, that's true. It's sad, you know. Oh. All right, let's put that banner back up. All right. So Bill Willingham, he's old. I really like Bill Willingham though. He's I've loved his art, and you know what else he's done that a lot of people might not know out there? He was an illustrator for TSR, and he would do the comic book illustrations for the advertisement. And he also drew the first Drow, which was in the Fiend Folio. And yeah, he's awesome. So, well, I don't know about the first Drow, but the first one that was presented in a gaming manual.
That's a nice little boost on your resume to have, is like, I did this.
That's right. Let's see here. I can put this up while we talk about this. I'm going to share screen one more time. So that Greg Land bit, I want to go to our Instagram account, and I post all sorts of fun things here. I did a couple videos, most recently of what the downstairs looks like. So you should head on over to Fantastic Comics.
That looks really good too. That's pretty much exactly what by your description, what I thought you were doing.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right. So Greg Land. Oh, let me go to this one first. This guy named Tristan Jones, he's like some Aussie illustrator. And I guess he worked at Dark Horse and did a lot of, Aliens. And here you can see his original arm and torso and legs on top of Greg Land's entire Alien. So although he didn't draw this, he drew all this, and Greg Land's basically using that.
I mean, that looks good.
Well, it does look good. Greg Land's very good at using photo reference.
Yeah.
And the question you have to ask, and a lot of times he'll take something and it's like, oh, that's not the way the arm was originally, and he'll twist it all up computer-wise. I don't know how they do those tricks, but he'll go on in and change things up, and here you can see how it works out, like what the marble one is, and all that other stuff. Also, if you follow us on Fantastic Comics on Twitter, I made a snide remark about Greg Land, and Tristan liked it. So, also on Instagram back here, I came across a bunch of Nightwings that I've been pricing up for our back issues, and this is great. Yeah, this is nice. Huh? This is Greg Land before photoshopping and photo referencing like pornographic stuff all the time. But not entirely. Anyway, his figure work was a lot more, his own, it felt like. And look at Dick getting with Catwoman there. Yeah, that's hot. Yeah, look at that. Here's some covers that he did. He can draw boys, too. He's not just... I
do like boys.
I draw girls.
Boys.
Well, guys that are well, it's often what it is if you're a woman, you draw, women well, and your boys are kind of, and boys draw boys, and their women are kind of,
Yeah.
But when you're a boy, and you're drawing hot ladies, your men start looking like hot ladies, too.
That's why I like, I really should actually learn his name, but the Alfie guy at buttsmithy.com, because he actually does have very nicely distinct art styles that it's not a carbon copy of different genders and body types. He actually, as a male artist, knows how to draw a skinny woman with he knows how to do different body types, and it's nice to be able to see one artist explore so many different types of things, bodies and genders and stuff in their art. Things can get a little melody and a little monotonous for a lot of artists, I feel like.
Sure. What do you think of this lady that's encasing Dick in these robes? Man.
It looks like they're trying to go with like a Wanda type thing. Or what is it?
Sure. What was that?
Is she magic?
I don't know anything about it, but
you haven't read it? Come on.
I am selling it, and I think it's only $3 or $4, so you can always come on in. I can get that for you. Also, if you follow our Instagram, I'll post things like this, and you'll see all the issues that I think are worth noting about. So yeah, follow us. You'll see some Diamond distributed books tomorrow, and then on Friday some DC. All right. So poor Greg Land getting in trouble yet again for swiping art. It's just something that he's always going to get blamed for. And the thing is like, it happens.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't mean to really sound like I just have kind of a blasé attitude about it, but that is part of art. Like, I took art history classes in college, and they explain about how that simply is part of art. It's the matter of whether or not you make your art distinct enough from your inspired source that makes the difference.
Excuse me. No, keep going. Keep talking.
Okay, so I did a little thingy. So
look at that.
See,
let's make you big.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, so I also put this on the description down below, and you can follow. I didn't do the OF one.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
18 plus, so
I was feeling a little prudish. I don't know.
No, don't.
No, it says only fans anyway. Give me a break.
What, it's locked? Like, you have to pay to... Yeah.
That's right. And Instagram, yeah. And you can't get filthy on Instagram.
You know, actually, I've been finding some stuff that I don't know if it just hasn't been tagged.
Is it a loophole you're talking about?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. There's a lot of stuff to do with Instagram that they have blocks on a lot of things, but then a lot of things that I've heard, like simple nip slips, I've been seeing some like full on front open thing in.
Oh man, you gotta.
Thank you.
You gotta hope for like an allowance of a wet T-shirt normally or something. An Instagram.
I have a hashtag on Letterboxd that's wet shirt, white tits. There's a lot of movies with it.
Hilarious. All right, and then let's see what were you here when I was telling you that Keanu Reeves has a Kickstarter?
Yes, and I am very excited for that.
All right. Firstly, I'm going to share a screen with one more time. Here we go. They are already at $702,000 with 22 days to go. Oh, I'm sorry. It just went up. So it's like at 704 almost.
Woo!
So they're going to break 1 million. And the thing is like recently there was actually a $1 million book already by Indiegogo. And this is going to beat that
easy.
Possibly. I mean, yeah, and that's what I'm.
Where he sold a date and then it made hell of money for charity.
Wait, huh?
Yeah, like a couple of months ago, he did something like, I think it might have been like a Zoom date with Keanu Reeves or something like that, and it was for charity, and of course that made so much money. It's like everybody loves Keanu Reeves. He's amazing.
Yeah, just have him be involved in that Venture Brothers thing, and you can do anything you want, right?
Ooh, can we get him as Dr. Orpheus?
Well, I mean, sure, he's not the greatest actor, right? I mean, we're talking voice acting. Do you think that I hate voice acting as far as like in movies, they put like real actors in there, and it's like, the thing about a real actor is you have a face to go along with the voice, and a voice actor, they don't show their face usually. It's all voice, and I always felt like it was weird when they would have celebrities voice them, and especially when you got to ones that were like, this person isn't good like vocally when you can see the entire package. Why would I care about them animated? Because they don't emote at all. There's no soul.
Yeah. See, but that's why we have people like Benedict Cumberbatch doing things like Dormammu and Smaug, and not even only the voice acting, but did you know they're doing stuff like the actual face capture of the motion and stuff now? So I get it the right person. Like, he was such a cool Dormammu. Are you kidding? Like, it can for sure go wrong. I've looked into voice acting a lot because in case you can't tell, I've got a little bit of a voice, so I've, thought about doing it before, and I can definitely agree with not everyone is made to do it, because there is a very specific talent to being able to do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just because you're a celebrity with a voice that is recognizable, I don't think they're necessarily made for voice acting. I would like to see Keanu in something, though, even just to be able to hear him, because, like, could you imagine something like his monotone, like Bill and Ted kind of voice, just doing some stupid teen cartoon or something? It would be hilarious.
Sure. Maybe Bill and Ted.
The animated Bill and Ted, it had like 2 seasons or something like that in the 90s.
Was he voicing that one?
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'll get back to you on that.
Right. Yeah, I don't know actually. Whatever. Let's see. One last one. Okay. So Keanu Reeves, he's been getting a lot of crap by some comic pros for doing this Kickstarter, and not only that, it's Boom Studios. They're a comic book company. They do all sorts of things with Matt Kent that I like, and that's who's also involved in this project. But here they are kickstarting something that's going to come out long after it actually hits stores. So all the individual issues will be out in a comic store before anybody that backs this is going to get it.
Interesting.
But what the people who are upset about it is that this guy has millions of dollars that he at his disposal that he could fund this on his own. And Boom Studios is a comic company that reportedly pays very shit for wages when it comes to producing comic books for the talent. And here they are raking in all this money, and they're almost going to make $1 million like that. They're like, Kickstarter is really for small people. Indiegogo is really for small people.
Well,
but
what we had talked about before with Bella Thorne on OnlyFans, like,
right,
you gotta leave small formats for the small communities. Like, celebrities and big people have an elevation to their name and their image that people on those kinds of platforms simply do not have. So
when you have to answer to,
they did.
Let me
they
do
did
that.
Voice it.
What's this?
They did voice
both of the guys.
Yeah, Keanu and Alex Winter.
That's awesome. They were young also, obviously, but it's nice that they're not too full of themselves that they can't revisit those characters, do the cartoons. Keanu
has said that, like, he loves some of his smaller characters. Like, there was this one interview where he had talked about he really wishes people would ask him about his Dracula role more, because nobody ever says anything about it, and he had a lot of fun with that movie. But they do always ever talk about, like, The Matrix and Neo and Bill.
The less said about his performance in Dracula, the better. I mean,
you see, there's like, it's fucking Dracula 2000. There's an even more. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, Helsing is. Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up. Helsing is played by somebody famous, and he has this weird Judas complex. It was a really weird adaptation.
Huh. No, I
yeah, no, just drop that.
No problem. The thing
right now.
The thing I feel about Keanu Reeves, going back to him really quick, he has he has high taste when it comes to the projects that he works on. Like, I mean, obviously, Bill and Ted is dumb fun, but he tries to do like Philip K. Dick or I don't know. Keanu Reeves would probably be the person to try that Snow Crash movie if you that adaptation if you're looking for it. But like but he's not like his taste isn't necessarily equal to his talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I love Keanu Reeves. He's super cool. He's a Jeopardy answer I actually got right. I hardly ever get Final Jeopardy.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: do you see the 2008 remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still with him? It was directed by the same guy that did Doctor Strange.
Wait. Who did the blah?
There's a 2008 remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Okay.
Directed by, I don't remember his name, by the guy that did the new Doctor Strange in the MCU, and it stars Keanu as Klaatu. Have you seen that
Really?
one?
No, I haven't. He was in that, huh?
Yeah, and
I couldn't remember that. I mean,
I have such mixed feelings about it. I thought it was good. I liked it a lot, but it was really badly received. It flopped hella bad, and I do kind of feel like Keanu could have played it a little differently. He played it very much like he did Neo, whereas the original Klaatu was a lot more just kind of almost sassy and chaotic and joyful, but this one he played really... Oh, thank you, Scott Derrickson. This one he just played kind of droll, which for what they did, they altered the story to address things like climate change and racism and a few things that
too many of those things.
It's if you ever get a chance to watch it, I would be really interested to know what you think about it.
All right.
Like I liked it. One of these days, I have some notes I wanted to do a blog post comparison on my WordPress. I did this one where I compared the new Tarzan movie with Alexander Skarsgård to what the book adaptation could have been like. And I really, really want to go through and talk about how the 2008 remake is actually a pretty good adaptation remake of the original made for a modern version of it, because I don't understand why it flopped. And then like Scott Derrickson, the effects that they changed with Gort and stuff, very, very different, but I really liked what they did. So there's just a million things about that one that I don't understand why it flopped and why nobody likes it, because it has Keanu Reeves and it's by the guy that did Doctor Strange and a million other great well, I mean like 8 other great movies, but it's just Keanu is definitely somebody who he has strange choices in his projects. Some great, some interesting more than good. But what do you think about the outlook for this comic that he's doing? I haven't actually looked into it much. I just know that he is doing it, and it sounds cool. So I have no idea what actually to expect.
I feel like a lot more people are interested in it, and possibly a lot of people outside of Hollywood. If you watch or out of Hollywood, I mean out of comic books, that feels like Hollywood sometimes. If people that know Hollywood, people that know movie stars, possibly are going to actually know about this and might actually come to a store. That's theoretically what's going to happen. Except that all the advertisement is going towards this Kickstarter and not really driving people to the comic store. Yeah. So what I'm hoping is, someone be like, well, I don't know if I really want to purchase this, this expensive graphic novel, even though it's like kick ass. It's got all this stuff in it, and I like the people that are working on it, and I want to support them. I could still just do it by buying the comic at the store, and it's only going to cost like $4. But maybe like both, and then you can support the store and also get this cool, lavish, bullet hole encased comic book. Let me see. I
would rather buy it. Like, especially if they're making that kind of money and they still got 3 weeks left, I would for sure rather buy it in shop.
Yeah. Well, what I'll see is whether or not they have like a retailer possibility for purchasing it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like some of the other ones have been, and I've actually purchased them for the store, and then other ones, I just let slip past. Let's play this clip, and it plays into a lot of everything we've been talking about recently or this evening.
Plateau, Barata, Necktie, nectar, nickel.
That's right.
Oh, good. You cut it off before he got there.
Yeah. I love that movie. I like Evil Dead too. Probably not the first one as much, but all together.
The second one is really like Evil Dead, Dead by Dawn. To me, is the perfect mix between the original, very much horror, basic, good, classic horror, and then Army of Darkness, still horror, but obviously much more slapsticky and comedy based, and with that like the blood spurting out of the well, it's almost pulpy. So Evil Dead, Dead by Dawn, squished between the two, I feel like with scenes like the laughing room and just the way that he deals with his hand, I think it's the perfect mix between the two, and Dead by Dawn is easily my actual favorite.
So that's 2. Evil Dead 2. Okay. Yeah. That's the one I cut my teeth on, and I went back to Evil Dead. So we saw that in the theater, and we would go and we would just see things, and not have any idea what it was going to be about. And when we saw this, we were like, what the fuck? This fucking movie.
Well,
it's like...
best way to get me into a movie is show me something that's going to make me go, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, but yeah, Army of Darkness has really good quotes, so I clipped them in there in the show. Nice. Every once in a while. Here's another one.
Yeah.
You found me beautiful once.
Honey, you got real ugly.
Oh.
Okay, last but not least, poor Rob Liefeld.
Oh no.
Do you know what happened with him?
No.
Okay, let me tell you.
I slept like all day, and I have just been reading Do Androids Dream all week. I don't know what's happening in the world this week.
So, last week, I usually am a week late on stuff like this. You know that Chadwick Boseman died.
Yeah.
Black Panther. There he is, right there. Do you know who Adam Levine is?
I do.
Not the singer guy.
Yeah, no.
It's this guy that works for like Topps Cards or something like that.
I don't know much about him, but I've been seeing him as a person around, talked about in the news.
So here's what he said in tweet form. He said, a list of people I wish had died instead of Chadwick Boseman. And his list was Rob Liefeld.
Well, that's not going to make Fantinuum very happy.
No, of course not. That's horrible.
Yeah, people think. Like, why do they need to say stuff like that? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, are you trying to be an edgelord or something?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But, this is a guy at a company, and, they might deal with him in the future. So Rob is like, oh, I'm above all this, These are the kind of shitty things I see all the time. And I believe it because, Fantinuum thinks he's the only one talking about the lack of feet when Rob's drawing them or not.
Hey,
but
feet are important.
He's heard it like, He's happy. That guy's probably really happy there's no conventions anymore. He's all, oh, phew. I don't got to go to conventions. Nobody's going to ask me to go over to, like, you know, Scotland. And I got to sign over there, stay on a long flight. Now, you know, it's like always someone's like a jerk to him and talking how shitty he is. And I mean, it is or isn't true. It really doesn't matter, but he hears it. And I mean, you don't really, I mean, there's things about Rob Liefeld that you may have heard that he may have done that weren't cool. But you never hear, like, he doesn't molest people, you know, he's not grooming nobody. You know, overall, he's a pretty okay guy. You know, he's got a youthful exuberance that sometimes, you know, probably plays out in some of the dealings that he does. But,
I see what you're saying.
you know, I mean, Rob's not like, you know, the worst guy in the world. He's just, you know.
He likes weird muscles and big bulges.
That's right. Well, the way those pants, it's like, is there anything in there? I mean, it's just such a crazy mound of nothing imagined, you know?
Well, I have to imagine, like,
Oh, damn.
that there's a cod piece, but there's such a bulge because there's so much under the cod piece that it is just like a big moor of a hill.
Yeah. And veins.
Oh,
and,
God, he loves veins so much.
And forearm muscles, right?
I was going to say all of the veins that he always does on the...
He's not, like, actually... I mean, there were other people, especially in the 90s, that were, like, worse. And,
yeah, that's true. I'm not a big fan of 90s art.
There's a lot of great 90s art.
Good stuff. Yeah.
That's an aspect of 90s art. Just an aspect. There's all sorts of masters that were working at this time. You've got Jeff Smith doing Bone. Peter Baggs doing Hate. There's lots of black and white still great out there by Dark Horse Comics.
None of that is in like the big stuff. Where is all of the good stuff in the big categories?
This is maybe I should put this up right now so that if you're ever on or YouTube, you can watch some of these channels and you can get a learning on Discovery Bay Comics lets you know what comic book stuff is going on YouTube that day. He also highlights things that he has going on Instagram and stuff like that. He's a really cool dude, JB. Just a Rican focuses on small-time comic YouTube channels and gives them a platform. Comics by Perch used to own a store, is going to own a store, and, you know, this thing happened that's going on these days. And he does really good comic book commentary, sometimes about drama, sometimes about the comic books, sometimes about the drama behind the comics. That one's good. Cartoonist Kayfabe, that's Jim Rugg. That's the guy who did that Octobriana picture I have on my window, or my door back there. And Ed Piskor. It's so funny. If you watch it with subtitles, it's I'm Ed Piskor. Because like you can have subtitles come up on anything, and it'll just like the computer will do it. So he's like, "Hi, I'm Ed Piskor," and it says Piskor.
Like I went to go watch some of these videos one day, and I don't even know how the setting turned on, but yeah, I had like subtitles, and I'm like, since when did that happen? And it did not at all get the words correct. So I'm just kind of like, well, okay, it's cool that they attempted, but this is funnier than it is actually helpful.
Have you ever seen on YouTube, there was this thing called the World of Wolfram. It's like, it's Wolf, R-A-M.
Like Wolfram Alpha?
What was that?
Like Wolfram Alpha?
I don't know, but it's a German YouTube comedy show about this elf and this orc that live with this human in an apartment. It's kind of like a real world situation. And it's hilarious, but if you watch it with subtitles, it's really funny too. You don't need subtitles, especially if you know German. But if you don't, you can still figure out what's going on. But if you watch the subtitles, whew, it's funny. Like Piss Score. Also, we have Talkin' Vols. I'm on that sometimes when I talk with the Wrestling Council about wrestling. Also, there is Thinking Critical. It's a station that talks about comics, and I'm often on it. I just did one about Shang-Chi.
I just watched the new Milan, too.
Oh yeah, how was that?
You know, I liked it a lot. Like a lot.
Really?
It wasn't perfect. I definitely have some pretty big criticisms, but I liked it.
I think it got bad tomato meter or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
On Letterboxd, it's rated at 2.7 right now. And first day it was 2.8, so it's going down.
Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry. There's something going on here. Let's get this right. All right, one last one. Comics Claptrap. That is a customer of the store. He does interview program and also will show off like independent finds or things that he wants to show you. And I've only watched a little bit because sometimes interviews with creators can be a little hectic, or sometimes it doesn't always work out. But they have had some really cool creators. So these are some channels that you should check out if you want to continue your YouTube comic book fun for the day.
I just saw Reggie Collects.
Yeah, Reggie.
Too, with some like dry cleaning and stuff.
Oh yeah. How'd that go?
Oh, I haven't. I'm afraid to try anything yet.
Was it easy to follow? Do you think it was something that anybody could pick up? Was it helpful?
I'm a little neurotic about cleaning, so I would say I think it's something that's definitely doable, and the way that Reggie breaks things down is great. So if you have the confidence in yourself to, like, especially where he did a dry cleaning special thing, so like go and get one of those clearance comics, some piece of crap, something, and try it, because like it's a good skill to have.
Yeah. I just did a very expensive Batman comic book I cleaned and pressed.
What was it?
It was the second appearance of the Riddler.
Ooh.
Yeah, not the first, obviously, or else we'd really be talking.
Yeah.
But he is the villain in the new movie that's going to be coming out. People are hot for the Riddler, so expect that on our eBay store. Yeah. So before we end, because I know it's getting late, let me.
We're doing pretty good. I mean, like get to bed early. It's freaking hot. Do what you need.
Yeah. So remember, if anybody wants to get a free drawing of some Worf made-up name by Dr. Drawpinski, then what I need you to do is to give us an Instagram, Instagram us at Fantastic Comics, or leave a comment after this show. It will help our algorithm, so will a thumbs up, by the way, and it will let us know who he picks. I guess this will be strictly a pick situation, depending on whether or not he can draw it. But you saw his artistic skills. He just goes straight to Google and Greg lands it, and then he draws it out, man. Oh, I can see he's got Tristan in Australia saying, "Hey, that's my ET. That's my neck right there. I drew that on an ET neck."
No, the one that he just did, the Wolfgang Amadeus. That's Warts. Oh, I can't even deal with that.
So obviously you don't get to pick that one. So what we're looking for is not really what is Worf's name. Come up with the most creative Worf name you can, and he's probably going to pick that one. So this is strictly based on Dr. Dropinski's how well you tickle him. Chances are he'll do all of them. Chances are
Good one.
Chances are he'll do all of them. Yeah. Artists are allowed to use reference. And you know, the thing is that if you're going to allow collages and say that that's really art, anything goes. So remember, we're not going to be getting DC comic books probably until... Oh, Skeletor time. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys a video before we leave.
Yeah, you know, I still have the drawing of the Skeletor from when I won that big freaking Skeletor up there.
Oh, damn, that Skeletor is amazing.
Yeah, right. Let me you can kind of see him up there.
Here, let me download it one more time. Oh, I guess I didn't really need to do that. And I'll just do this. Okay, so I don't know how it's gonna play out for the sound, but let me do this. All right, everybody. I'm going to be sharing screen, and then we'll probably show a video, and then we'll be out. So reminders, Diamond tomorrow. That's Marvel, Oni, Dark Horse, Aftershock. Oh, I didn't even talk about the comics that didn't sell. Pay attention to our Instagram. Maybe I can. We've been chatting about movies amazingly, and I've been actually able to talk about it. So this isn't something that always happens. Also, DC is when we're receiving them on Thursday, sometime Thursday. So really, we're looking at Friday. So Friday for DC, or Saturday for Continuum, whatever you want. Just let us know. Like I've said before, we close at 5 o'clock if you are running late, and it is before 5 o'clock. Give us a call. We may just be able to hang out for you. So, yeah, so do that. All right, I'm going to share this screen with you. I hope you enjoyed this production. It's taken well over a year for it to come out, and you can tell us in the comments whether or not you like it. Here we go. Let me just move that. Is Skeletor natty? To answer this question, we have to first ask, what body type is Skeletor? I suggest that Skeletor is an ectomorph, basically your typical hard gainer. How do we determine this? Well, let's look at the evidence. Evidence number 1, he's a living skeleton. Evidence number 2, his name is Skeletor. Ectomorph, hard gainer status established. Now let's look at what the science says. In a meta-analysis of living skeletons by Brad Schoenfeld, using a drug-free training regime, one could expect an upper limit of only a 20% increase in fat-free mass over 10 years. Now keep in mind, living skeletons have a tendency to be shredded, and with this very low percentage of body fat, will look more muscular than they actually are. Yet in a side-by-side comparison, Skeletor looks to be the same height and weight as He-Man, who was listed as 6'2", 245 pounds. So how did Skeletor end up with a Schwarzeneggerian physique? 2 reasons. Motivation, access. Motive. His arch nemesis is He-Man, who has long bragged about being the most powerful man in the universe. Could someone as hyper-competitive as Skeletor let this claim stand? Ability. Skeletor is a known abuser of unnatural substances, and has direct access to such substances via his personal doctor, Evil Lyn. Skeletor had motive and ability. Perhaps in a court of law, this is not enough to prove guilt, but this is not a court of law. This is the Court of Eternia, and the verdict is in. Skeletor. Not natty. All right. There you go. That's me. Stop sharing screen. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out, Bruja. You're on mute, but that's okay.
There we go.
Oh, we're all messed up at the end of the day. It's hot here. I don't know if we told you that.
It's damn. I'm definitely about to go out and like chain smoke some cigarettes to get out of this freaking boiling apart. Like my husband is in the shower right now, so I'm just like getting humid, and I'm like, I'd be happy to stay on the show with you as long as we could, but I want to go have a cigarette to get out of this room.
All right, we're signing out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in after the fact. Let us know in the comments down below what you think as far as what Worf's real name is and what you want to see drawn. You got all this list of Bruja possibilities. She does movie reviews. You've got a taste of it today. We did not expect that at all, but you got a taste of.
Not talk about movies.
Well, I hear you, and we could easily do that. I mean,
don't let me take over your show, bro.
Well, I mean, the thing is that like comic books are, there's this like kind of holding pattern with what's going on, with the exception of things like Joker War or the Three Jokers. There really isn't anything that hot going on over at DC, with the exception of some things that people will really like.
Well, I mean, with the way the world is right now, yeah, there's tough stuff going on in the world of entertainment. We're having a lot of stuff withheld.
Yeah, and that's how it is.
I'm not.
But come on in. Come into the comic store. I got a lot of cool comics that you may not have seen, and I'm really looking forward to some of the stuff tomorrow. We're going to have some amazing Spider-Mans because we got shorted some when they came out last time, and that means there's going to be like 2 issues in a row right there, and that's been a pretty cool storyline so far, and it's leading up to this big Spider-Man 850 issue. Woo, the Green Goblin's back, everybody.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. I'll leave you with that. Bye.